Hello guys, today we will code a very simple Android application using Kivy and export it into a complete standalone APK. Now the trick in having a standalone APK or standalone application that the Python interpreter will be embedded automatically within the APK. Hence, the application will run without the need of Python interpreter pre-installed on our target device. So, the starting file or the starting Python file for all Kivy applications should be named as main.py, and this is because the bulldozer script will search for main.py file during the packaging phase. So here on the desktop I have created a file named main.py to start our coding stuff. Okay, right now let's write the most basic application that will basically do nothing except initiating the Kivy application class. So I'm gonna write from kivy.app import app. Then on the next line I'm gonna write app.run. So again, this is the most basic Kivy code you could possibly write. It imports an app class, initiates it, and then calls the run method. Now, the application class is the base for creating Kivy applications. You can think of it as your main entry point into Kivy run loop. Okay, so let me run the application. Okay, and we got a blank screen for now, and this is because we have not added any interface objects yet. Okay, right now we will do something called subclassing for the application class. So I'm gonna add a new Python class called myApp and pass the Kivy application class. Now under the class I will just do pass for now as I don't want to do anything. And let me reflect the name here to myapp.run to start the application. Okay, so again, this version creates a new subclass of application and the new subclass called myApp. Now this basically didn't add anything to the to the previous version, and it will behave exactly the same as the previous one. However, we will be extending it later on. More importantly, by creating this new class, we can now use the KV language to add some real user interface elements. And so instead of just showing a black window, we're gonna add some user interfaces, and we will do this in the next video. Okay, so just to confirm, if I run the script right now after our modification, again we will get this blank screen here. Now let's add some life to our interface, and instead of making it blank, I'm gonna add a button just to get a little bit familiar with the Kivy interface. After that, we will use the QPython application to test the script on my Android, and finally we will use the bulldozer eventually to export our script into APK and test it out as a standalone application. Okay, so now let's write down some few codes, and I will do from kivy.ux.button import button class. Now the kivy.uix module contains the most common user interface classes like buttons, labels, text input, pop-up messages, progress bar, and etc. Here we just imported the button class. In the next lectures, we will see how to code the GUI interface in our subclass using the KV language. Also, we will see how we can do a mix between multiple objects and how we can interact between the GUI elements. But for now, I just wanted to make it as simple as possible here. The next step under my app class, which is again the base class of our KV application, we will define a build function. The build function is used to initialize our application and to return the object that we want to show. And here in our case, it's the button object. The button class has multiple parameters. The text parameter determines the name that should appear on the button itself, and I just wanted to show Hello KV on it. Alright, last note before running the code in CubePython. In the next video, we will use the KV language to build our GUI. So instead of returning a button under the build function, we will return the subclass name that used to build the interface. Okay, so our next move is to test the script on CubePython. And to do so, we need to add a tag at the top of our script. Now this tag will indicate for CubePython that this script is a KV application and has a graph mode. So let me just make some space here, and I will type hashtag QPY then colon then KV. Okay, so let me save the file right now, and using AirDroid I will move the script into scripts directory. Okay, so it's called main.py. This is our file here. Okay, one succeeded. Okay, right now if we jump to CubePython, then programs, then this is our main.py. Let me just open the file. Okay, here it is, and I will click on run right now. And fair enough, here is our button here that says hello KV. Okay, great. Alright, now you will see how straightforward to build an APK. So first of all, I created a new folder called hosts, and in this directory we have the main.py file, which again contains the script that we want to export it. And for now, it's only just a simple button. So next, I will go to the terminal and navigate to this directory. If you remember, the first command that we should invoke was buildozer init, which again will generate the specification file. Okay, so this is the main.py file that contains our script, and again notice we got the specs file. Alright, so here let's prepare it to fit our need, and I will change, and I will start by changing the application name to be hello world. So let me write down hello world. Now the most important fields in the buildozer spec file are the application requirement and the Android permission. For our current application, we only needed KV module. However, in the next, we're gonna use more libraries. Here we can change the orientation for the display of the application, and also if we want to make a full screen application. but I will leave them to the default values. Alright, let's move on to the next important attribute, which is the Android permission. Here you should define what permission does your application needs, and again for our current application we don't need anything specific like accessing Wi-Fi or 3G. So I'm gonna leave it to the default, and by the way, make sure to uncomment this line if we want to define a value. Okay, if we scroll down a little bit, the log level value or field is useful for troubleshooting. Raising its value to level 2 will raise the logging level to debug level, which again will be very helpful for troubleshooting in case we faced any problem in the exporting. Once we are done, we will save our changes and type on the terminal Bulldozer Android debug, and believe it or not, that's it. Bulldozer on our behalf will automate all the process for us and install any necessary or missing libraries. So you need to make sure that your Kivy virtual machine is connected to the internet at this final stage. And as you can see here, since this is the first time I run Bulldozer, it turns out that the Android SDK is missing. So Bulldozer will install it on our behalf. Alright, so to save some time, I'm gonna pause the recording and get back once it's finished. So the application has been built and it can be found under the bin folder in the same directory. If we go there, okay, here it is. So I will use AirDroid to load the APK real quick into my device and test the application. The screenshotting, and choose application option, then pointed to our Hello World APK. Okay, so I will go to install on my Android and then open. Okay, and fair enough, here is our Hello World button. Okay guys, that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching.